Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all been well. Just a couple minutes ago there was a new patch that was announced. It is called the Next Step Balance Patch Adjustment number 24. So this is going to be the 24th battle balance adjustment. You can see a lot of interesting Pokemon here, such as like Metagross, Decidueye, Inteleon, Buzzwole. But without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So update time is going to be on the 12th of December, or the 5th of December at 4 in the morning, which I believe that's Australian time. I'm not 100% sure, but we're not going to worry too much about that, as we're just going to go straight into it. So update details: snowball battle in Shiver City, so that'll return. All the Christmas kind of events that's going to be happening. Winter sale shop available, holiday celebration prize machine, all this different cool kind of stuff. So now we're going to go into the actual meat and potatoes of this, which is the actual balance adjustments. I'm not expecting to see too many huge changes because of the amount of Pokemon that's there, but we'll just get straight into it. So first up we have Zarina. Triple axle damage increase per hit 5% to 8%, drop kick shield amount 20% increase, grassy glide shield amount 20% increase, and stomp damage 5% decrease. So overall a buff for triple axle, drop kick, and grassy glide. There's just a little bit of damage decrease to stomp. That's pretty good though. Nothing too game changing. The shield is really nice though, just give it more survivability and big fights, bigger moments, which is pretty alright. Next up we got Buzzwole. Smackdown area damage 20% increase. I'm assuming that would be for the second part of it when you slam them down. So the radius of the slam down is 20% increase more. Jeez, okay. So Buzzwole's actually gotten some buffs, smackdown buff, and then lunge attack reduction duration from 2 seconds to 2.5, so it just lowers the opponent's attack for longer. Awesome, cool, quite simple. Next we got Inteleon, stat increase actually. He's a lot more defense than before. From 35, used to scale from 35 to 170, now will scale to 35 to 225, of course from level 1 to level 15. So then just generally both defense and special defense has been buffed for this mon throughout the game. Fell Stinger 7 seconds to 6.5 seconds. Honestly, on Fell Stinger, that's pretty good considering how quickly it resets. So it's Fell Stinger, Acrobatics also got a bit of a cooldown, so that's nice. But the defense is probably the best thing about it, and then Fell Stinger. So that's Inteleon's already really good, so getting those small changes, he's just going to be better. Not by like a huge margin, but defense is nice, a bit more tanky. That's always nice. Next up we have Decidueye, one of my personal favorite Pokemon. Oh, he got a little tiny defense buff, so scaling from 50 to 250 now is 50 to 270. Huge jump in his special defense, actually 150 to 230. That's a big jump in his special defense. So then he might, it's not going to change too much, he's still going to be extremely squishy, but increase in defense like that, always super nice. Next up we got Cramorant for Surf Plus. The movement speed reduction duration is from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, so it just means the opponent is slowed down for 3 seconds instead of 2 when they hit with Surf. That's nice, cool little change, nothing huge. Chandelure stats, defense increase. So a lot of defense increase for our like squishy attackers like Inteleon, Decidueye, and then of course a Chandelure right here. We might get some more later, but after that we'll have a quick look. But that's always nice, just a little bit of a defense boost. Next up we have Dodrio. Whoa, agility cooldown. Hello, agility cooldown from 11 seconds to 9 seconds. That's pretty big actually. Especially considering what agility does. And then drill peck damage increase. You'll probably see a bit more Dodrio when this comes out then. More videos, I guarantee it. There's like, whoa, is agility the new thing? And it might be with that like level of cooldown. Like jump kick is good for repositioning, but like agility cooldown from 11 to 9 seconds is pretty big. Next up we have Talonflame. Brave Bird plus damage reduction 15 to 25%. So that's a buff overall damage reduction. Yes, it would be. So the amount of damage he takes while he's doing it has been increased to reduce 25% of damage taken instead of 15. So little touches of buffs here and there. One for Talonflame just to make it so he has more survivability when he dives in. Very nice. Ooh, next up we have Sizzle. Well, this is actually just Scyther right here, dual wing beat, HP recovery amount, 50% increase, just more survivability than I guess for Scyther when he jumps in. I guess that's nice. Next up we have Clefable. Follow me, hindrance duration 2 seconds instead of 1.5. That's always nice. And gravity is now an 8-second cooldown instead of a 9-second cooldown. Small little buffs for Clefable, cooldown, and then just hindrance duration for follow me is better. That's actually pretty good. Distracting or forcing them to attack you or follow you for an additional 0.5 seconds could be pretty good. But Clefable's already good, so just made it better. Next up, we have Sableye Shadow Sneak, 13 seconds to 12 seconds. Cool. I don't really care about Sableye, but hey, good for you Sableye mans out there. Next up, we have Delphox. Stats, special defense is been increased by a large margin again. Again, we don't know what the scaling is like fully. We just know like the level 1, level 15 result. But for the end result, 139 to 225, special attack increase is crazy for all these squishy attackers. Like that's a decent chunk increase, right? That's like almost 100, right? That's really good. Flame Charge Plus, movement speed increase duration from 1 second to 1.5. That's actually pretty alright. Just increases for makes it easier to reposition if you really need to, which honestly, nice change. I like that. It's nothing too crazy. Flame Charge doesn't get a whole lot of play anyway, because like Fire Spin, Fire Blast is typically what people go, but Mystical Fire Flame Charge is still good, and it's going to be even better now. Metagross, Meteor Mash goes from cooldown 8 seconds to 7 seconds. Good change. I like that. Meteor Mash isn't amazing. People just play Gyro Ball, so just a little bit more temptation to go play Meteor Mash, but Gyro Ball is still definitely going to be better if that's the only change. Next up, we got Sylveon. Special defense increase again. So they're giving a lot of attackers just increase in special defense. I guess that's just with the rise of how many special attackers are just like prominent right now, especially like Pokemon like Darkrai, like Delphox, like just you can probably think of many other special attackers as well right now, but that just increasing special defense will just make them generally worse overall at doing that. So like executions on Darkrai to like the squishy attackers will probably be slightly worse, but still it's going to be Darkrai, so it's going to be crazy. But as we can see here, Draining Kiss and Mystical Fire got an 8%, or Draining Kiss 8% healing decrease, and Mystical Fire is a damage 8% decrease as well. So Sylveon had a defense buff, but overall damage and healing from Mystical Fire Draining Kiss has been nerfed, which is not that amazing for Sylveon, but I guess it's a price to pay for being, you know, a super solid Pokemon. Next up, we have Crustle. Oh, they nerfed him. They nerfed him so much. What the heck? Rock Tomb is now a cooldown of 5.5 seconds instead of 5. That's fine. Like, it's nothing too crazy. Stealth Rock is a cooldown from 5 to 5.5. Same with Rock Tomb, but they've decreased the damage by 8%, which is not amazing, but that's fine. And then they, of course, also increased X's cooldown from 6 seconds to 6.5 seconds. I mean, he is a really solid Pokemon. He's really good early, and he has a lot of good CC options, especially with X-Scissor. So that being on a longer cooldown shuts him down more. But of course, the biggest thing to Crustle right now is this energy cost, 20% increase. That is crazy bad for him, because his Unite move is so good. Especially just like staying alive, annoying people. So like being able to do that less is a bit of a sturdy blow to Crustle, which kind of sucks. But without further ado, we'll move on to Tyranitar. So Stone Edge, damage 10% increase, cool, and then Dark Pulse cooldown was increased from 5 seconds to 5.5. Awesome, nothing too crazy. Stone Edge is like Stone Edge. Yeah, Tyranitar's fine. But yeah, those are fine changes. Next up, we have Duraludon. Flash Cannon speed reduction from boosted attack has been nerfed. Okay, that's not amazing. Because that was one of the biggest things. They're just going to be able to get away faster from that as well. I mean, most people don't really play Flash Cannon, but still, it's not great for him. Next, Stealth Rock, recovery time for charges, 8 seconds, 8.5. So this is just a general nerf to Duraludon overall. I guess they're just targeting Pokemon that have like decent win rates. Like Duraludon's always pretty standard, and like Sylveon's really good, and Delphox, and like Clefairy was a good support, and like Dodrio, I like those buffs. But yeah, we'll keep moving on. So next up we have Wigglytuff, seeing a defense and special defense reduction 35 to 25. So that is a nerf, I believe, because seeing reduces their defenses when they're asleep. So that's pretty alright. That's a decent, like, Wigglytuff's really tanky and is generally pretty alright. Double Slap, cooldown increase from 4.5 seconds to 5 seconds. Man, they've changed a lot of Pokemon. It's nothing game-breaking, but it's just a lot of minor changes I've seen. But yeah, that Wigglytuff change is fine. Nothing game-breaking. Venusaur, Giga Drain damage reduction rate 35% to 40%. So that means when he's playing Giga Drain. Just making the other build a little bit better. Petal Dance Giga Drain just makes it so he just takes less damage when he uses it, which is pretty alright. But they've also decreased Solar Beam's damage by 8%, which is not amazing. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. It's still going to be crazy for, like, securing and stuff, but yeah, some nice changes. Giga Drain buff's always nice. Solar Beam damage reduction kind of sucks, but I think Venusaur is going to be just fine. Next up, we have Machamp, Dynamic Punch Plus, attack increase 20% to 12%. Oh, they're making a bad Pokemon even worse. What the heck, dude? I mean, Machamp's fine. Like, he's not... There's better options, in my opinion. But, I mean, nerfing him, I don't see why they would do that. I mean, he was in a decent spot. That kind of blows for him. Submission, attack speed increase 50 to 40%, then Submission Plus, attack speed increase from 60 to 50. Like, it's 10% on that, but like an 8% decrease to the attack increase on Dynamic Punch Plus. Yeah. Like, again, he's going to be the same, but that just kind of sucks that they nerfed him. Absol, Pursuit, cooldown 5 to 5.5 seconds. Needed. Absol's really, really good right now, I think. Not so much in like a whole like 5-on-5 competitive setting, but just generally it's like it can just storm solo queue games, so I see that as reasonable. Absol hasn't really had many crazy changes recently, so it's nice to see some kind of change. It is a nerf, but so sorry for my Absol players out there. Next up we have Mr. Mime. They've nerfed Psychic. That doesn't make any sense. Psychic isn't like amazing. They've increased it by 6 to 6.5. It is a lot of cooldown changes this patch, actually, which that's interesting to me. I wonder why they went with this kind of route. But anyway, next up we have Garchomp, basic attack. Oh, basic attack speed. Attack speed 0 to 7.5% decrease. So they've made him less of a chainsaw than when he's at higher levels. Oh, okay. I don't know. I mean, he's been doing pretty alright in certain matches. Like, in draft, he's a really good pick. Earthquake, damage decrease, 5%. Earthquake plus damage, 5% decrease in movement speed reduction, 40 to 20. Man, so they just made Earthquake really not as good. I mean, like, the movement speed reduction was already great, just because then you'd be able to rip faster on people, but they're going to be able to get away even better. Like, literally twice as good. Then Dragon Rush, an additional 0.5 seconds of cooldown. So weird. So weird that they're adding so much cooldown changes to everything. But next up we have Leafeon. Aerialites recovery time for charges 4 to 5 seconds. Needed. Leafeon has just crazy movement. So that's a decent nerf, especially on something that like they have to gain over time and they can stack up. Make it from 5 seconds. I think that's a good change. Next up we have Umbreon, Foul Play, movement speed reduction 30 to 15%. Yeah, I think that's good. Umbreon's really good. Needs a bit of a nerf. I think that's a fine change. It's not going to change much anyway, because the main thing you use it for is like repositioning and pushing people around. You don't really care about the movement speed reduction that much. And plus, if you really want to lock people, you just use Mean Look or something, which... yeah, but I mean, it is really, really good Foul Play, so understandable. Next up, we have Blaziken, overheat damage, 6% decrease. Like, that's going to do anything. It's still going to be, like, he's still unstoppable, still really good, and still, like, yeah, it's a bit of a nerf, but I think he's going to be just fine. Next up, ooh, we got Psyduck changes. Disable. Yep, there's Disable. Disable has been so good for so long. Ever since he came out, Disable's been crazy. So they increased the cooldown from 6 seconds to 7 seconds. They decreased the damage it deals by 20%, and the cooldown extension they add to the opposing Pokemon they hit with Disable has been lowered from an additional 3 seconds of cooldown to 2 seconds of increased cooldown. Alright, Disable extends the cooldown of the opponent's most recently used move, but there were instances where opponents could not use their moves at all due to stacking Disable effects. By reducing the cooldown and the cooldown extension effect, there will be more opportunities for opponents to counterattack. Additionally, since Psyduck is relatively new, many trainers were unaware that Disable could spread between Pokemon, resulting in repeated damage when staying close to allies under the effect. The damage is reduced to make it more appropriate for the supporter type. Good change, Timmy. That's very nice, actually. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how much it actually impacts it, but yeah, good Psyduck change. He's very, very good, and that was necessary. Next up, we got adjustments to mechanics, specifications, and effects. So, Darkrai, boosted attack range from 12 to 9. So they've lowered his attack range for his boosted, which is good, which is very, very good. The range of that was crazy. Next up, we have Nasty Plot, adjusted to ensure that the added damage does not awaken sleeping foes. Adjusted to ensure that the added damage does not awaken sleeping foes. Wait, so it wasn't meant to wake them up? Oh. Okay, well the wording's a bit weird, and I'm not sure if I'm quite getting it, but that sounds like a really problematic change. If the boosted, because the boosted will wake them up, but if you do the boosted and then they go to sleep from that, the additional hits from Nasty Plot is not going to wake them? Alright, we'll have to wait and see. Unite move Worst Nightmare adjusted the effect to lead opponents to a nightmare without obstacles. Okay. Previously, Darkrai could activate boosted attacks from a safe distance outside. Oh, I see. So the range has been reduced. Additionally, the extra damage from Nasty Plot unintentionally awakened opponents, which has been fixed. In the Nightmare of the Unite move, there were instances where Darkrai or the opponent could be obstructed by walls, so the effect was adjusted to create a nightmare without obstacles. So you take them to a little zone and it has no walls, no grass, no nothing. Alright, that's actually pretty good. Next up, we have Armor Rouge, but overall, those Darkrai changes, like, that's good. The boosted attack, Nasty Plot, I'm a bit scared for. Like, that might be a bit of an issue, but I could just be reading into it too much, and it's not going to be too much of a change. Unite move change, nothing about damage, but still, I think that's relatively good. Next up, we have Armor Rouge. Unite move Psycho Boom. Change the attack range control during activation to movement input. Previously, after activating the Unite moves, players had to press the corresponding button again, which made it difficult to use. This was adjusted to make it easier to launch at the targeted location. Okay, so it's just easier to aim wherever you want it now. Alright. Fair enough. That's a good change. I mean, I know a lot of people have trouble aiming Armor Rouge's Unite move. I do too sometimes. So just to make it easier, I think that's a relatively good change. And last but not least, we have bug fixes. Fix an issue where Darkrai's Unite move would cause Comfy attached to the target to detach when hitting a Pokemon with Unstoppable. I'm not going to read that. You can read it for yourself. Well, that is pretty much all of the changes that have gone over. Nothing too crazy, nothing meta changing, nothing insane. We'll have to wait until Tingaton comes out for that, but I think it's relatively good. Zarina's probably the biggest winner of this, right? Because it was pretty much buffs across the board except for Stomp. But Inteleon's also a pretty good contender, just for Fell Stinger Acrobatics. But man, there was some good changes here, like Zarina, Buzzwole, Chandelore's a decent change. Dodrio is like such a good change. That's really nice, from 11 to 9 seconds. We got Delphox, like that's fine. Metagross, that's good. Sylveon, just a bit of a nerf. Crustle's the biggest loser though. Like, oh my goodness, that Unite move has gotten gutted, but we'll have to wait and see. Like 20% increase is crazy. I still think Crustle's gonna be good, but yeah, that sucks for him. But yeah, overall, I think it was a relatively, like, this is a decent patch from what I'm reading, so I'm excited to look into it and see who the really big winners are. I have my bets that the loser is definitely Crustle, and I'm going to say the winner is, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But based on this, I think the winner is Dodrio. I think Dodrio is going to be the winner of this. The agility cooldown, the damage increase of Drill Peck, he's going to go crazy. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, what you think about this balance patch. If it's enough, if it's not enough, if they've changed too much, be sure to let me know in the comments below. But as always, I will see all of you next time, and always remember, stay hydrated.